Well, I think the starting point is you can't go on the road and have 4 first-half turnovers, 2 for touchdowns. I know I said that last night. It sounds like a broken record. But I just see a big old 5-0 in the turnover margin, which led to a lot of that. So really never give ourselves an opportunity to have momentum, have confidence when every bit of momentum you get is then taken away. It's tough. And so, again, I thought sequencing in the first half, the defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive, and then they got some 3-and-outs. Held them to a field goal in a short short field. So there were some positive things. It was far from perfect. There's a lot of things we got to clean up. Offensively, there's a lot we got to clean up as well. We got to find some momentum in the run game. They pressure you from a lot of different looks. They don't make life easy on you, the Vikings. But there was more opportunity there than we gave ourselves a chance to take advantage of. And part of that is just sustaining the drives without turning the ball over. Gives you a chance to gain some momentum in the run game as well, and we never gave ourselves that shot.
When you go back and look at Chase Brown's runs in particular, is there a common thread of things that you were seeing that wasn't what it needed to be, or?
I think it's everybody involved in that. It's not the running back. It's not just the line. It's not just the tight end. There's everybody involved in that. There were times, where the other backs were in. There was great opportunity there, and they took advantage of it. And so I do think that they ran well. I think that's also you're going to look at, okay, Chase's yards per carry and the other guys. Some of it was a little bit opportunity with the scheme we hit versus the front that they had. But again, we've got 3 backs that we believe in, that we think we can all use in different ways. So to put that on Chase is a bit unfair because it was the unit as a whole.
Well, has that been surprising, though? That's been the most surprising thing of these first 3 weeks is the fact that, expectations were through the roof for Chase and what he's going to look like this year. He's 47 carries for 93 yards right now. Is that something where you look at it and say, we're doing it wrong?
No, I think as a unit, we got to be better in the run game. We have to do a great job identifying the scheme that we've got a lot of confidence in to be able to give the running backs opportunity. And our guys need to step up and do a great job with that scheme. And so I think it's unfair to put it on a player. It's on all of us offensively, collectively, to find a better answer. I do think that we've faced 3 challenging defenses early in the season. You can't make an excuse for that. We've got to find our way to put pressure on them and stop saying it's about the defense. There's got to be moments where we attack the defense and put them on their heels, and we just got to find some momentum and drives to be able to do that. And yesterday we were far from finding momentum on drives.
Ted kind of mentioned a lack of physicality.
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
Yeah, it's hard to explain. You don't want to have to explain that, but that's the truth. We got to get movement off the ball and create some displacement so that there's some space for these backs to make some hay. And again, that was the challenge yesterday, and we've talked to everybody about that up front. That again, whenever you talk about protection and physicality in the run game, you immediately think of just the offensive line. Hey, that's everybody involved. That's the backs. That's the tight ends. That's the receivers. That's the quarterbacks on their fakes, trying to pull an extra hat and soften people up. That's play calling, marrying things together so you can't tee off on people and make one phase of the offense difficult. So we all play a hand in that. There's not one person or one position group you're going to point to. We all got to own that and be better at it moving forward.
Frank, there's a lot I don't understand about the run game and that kind of stuff, but it looked like you were doing a lot of different stuff, outside stuff, obviously more under center.
Yeah.
How much of that was the quarterback change? How much of that was Minnesota?
No, it's a high percentage of Minnesota. They're a unique defense. They present a lot of different challenges. Getting Van Ginkel and Harrison Smith back makes their defense whole again, which they didn't have the week before. They haven't had Harrison all season. So they're a really challenging defense. I think that's going to take shape over the course of the season. You're going to really see that. But again, we've got to find ways to attack and put people on their heels. And that starts with momentum down the field and scoring on a possession and gaining some momentum. And every time we really threatened to do that, we kind of took the wind out of our own sails by allowing them to take the ball away from us. And so here you are kind of having to defend a lot of things in the offense justly. We didn't do well enough, and those are fair questions.
23, you lost 2 fumbles all year.
Yeah.
Just the messaging this week about putting the ball on the ground, what will that sound like?
Yeah, it's, again, I think Pitch summarized it best in our meeting this morning. You can say it's an anomaly to have 5 in one game, 5 balls on the ground in one game, when we've had, I think, 3 in the last 7 on the ground. But it is what it is. They saw an opportunity to hunt the ball and get it out. So there's something there with us, and they came in bunches like we always preach to our defense. The stuff's going to come in bunches when you can punch the ball out. And yesterday for Minnesota, they did an outstanding job hunting our guys and finding opportunity, and we did not do a good enough job securing it. And none of them were outlandish. We have watched the TV copy, showed the team the TV copy of every single one of them, and none of them were outlandish separation, ball below the elbow. It was all fair stuff that we talk about. They just did a great job punching, grabbing wrists, getting the ball out, and then feasting on that. And then once they created momentum, it was easy for them. It just became fun for their defense, and we didn't do anything to counter that.
In a game that you couldn't run effectively, you had 6 targets for Jamar, you had 2 for T, and none for Andre. How do you explain that?
Well, we were in a lot of 12 personnel. So 12 personnel, in theory, regulates their defense a little bit based on what we'd seen. So that Andre is subbing in for those other 2 guys, and that's not how we're going to play the whole season. That's sometimes just how you have to play an opponent. And I think Andre, over the course of a 17-game season, is going to take shape for him. And he's a guy that's patient, understands his role, appreciate the role that he plays for us because of a lot of his dirty stuff that he puts his nose in there and gets it done. And his opportunities will come, and it'll take shape over the course of the season. And there's nothing that he's done to minimize his role. That's just the way that this game has played out for us.
In yesterday's game, the way it unfolded, why weren't there a lot of opportunities for T and Jamar?
We didn't have a lot of opportunities to get first downs. I mean, we kept turning the ball over. Every time we crossed the 50-yard line, we put the ball on the ground and we threw the ball to them. So that minimizes your opportunities, and then you get late in the game, and we're trying different things to just gain some momentum going forward at that point. And they challenge. They do a good job. I mean, they don't make it easy to get the ball to Jamar. I can promise you that. That's somebody they're trying to take away, and same with T. And again, we couldn't find a great rhythm to be able to get those guys the ball enough.
You talked about the ball on the ground being the argument that it could be an anomaly. What about the game as a whole? Are you guys talking about how kind of just throwing this one away, like, okay, that's not going to happen again? Like,
No. We can't allow this to beat us again. We've got to turn this into a victory in some way, shape, or form where we learn from all these turnovers, the lack of takeaways from our defense, and grow from this. And so, again, we got to be better going forward because of some of the mistakes we made. And so it's not a throwaway. You take those turnovers out of the equation. I can't sit here and say that we're going to win the game, or it's going to be that's fantasy land to know how that was going to play out. But there was enough stuff that we've got to clean up just fundamentally in all 3 phases to give ourselves a better chance to beat quality opponents going forward. And so there's enough all around that we can't ignore, that we got to clean up. Even taking the turnovers out of the equation, we got to be a better team going forward. And I'm very confident that we'll do that. I think guys had the right approach when they came in the building today. Position coaches are doing a great job attacking everything we got to improve, and emphasizing the things that we were good at. It's not every play wasn't bad. There were some positives in this game, and we got to continue to build on that.
Looking even broader than just this game, like you had 2 rookie guards in there at one point. What are the challenges that rookie offensive linemen face, and how do you feel like you guys are handling it?
Yeah, I mean, just things they haven't seen before, communication elements. Looking on them, sometimes they're seeing something for the first time that you can't always prepare them for, and it's that can be a challenge. But we've got 2 really smart guys that are willing to learn from their experiences, and I think you're going to see with all the rookies, there's going to be a mistake that they make at some point in the season that they won't make again for the rest of their career, and you got to continue to push through that. That's something you live with when you play young players. We're fortunate that we have very capable, very intelligent players that are out there, and they kind of see it the second they did it. They can self-diagnose what went wrong there and make the correction. So I think we're going to pay dividends in the end with those young guys playing, because the mistakes will come, we'll overcome them, and they'll be better for it. And so, again, it's there's a lot of positives from these young guys playing. You mentioned the guards. There's a lot of positives from these young guards playing.
With young players, when you're trying to figure out everything else about the offense right now and they come up with game plans, how much of a challenge is it for them to keep pace along with that stuff they're working on by themselves?
They're part of the unit, and so, again, you can't treat them like rookies. You can't treat them differently. Again, they've done a great job handling everything we've delivered at them. There's going to be a look or something that comes their way during the game that they're experiencing for the first time. You can't prepare them for everything. And again, they'll learn from it, continue to move on. But I've been pleased with what we've seen from our rookies. I think it's a really good class from top to bottom. Those guys are all getting opportunities at different times, and they've all shown us the reasons why they're here and that they're going to help us now and in the future.
I feel like every NFL game I watched this year, the quarterback is under frequent duress. In your years in the league, whether it's the athleticism on that side of the ball or the schemes, is it harder to protect than ever?
It's hard to compare to other years. I feel that we watch the tape of the opponents every week, and you watch some other games and you feel that. You feel quarterbacks under duress. And we just got to continue to put together great plans to help us. We can't worry about all the other quarterbacks and all the other offenses. We just have to focus on us, finding the best plan to be able to protect Jake and find completions and run the ball to complement that and score points moving forward. Yesterday wasn't good enough.
P. Ryan and Fant, are they both potentially available Monday?
We'll see. I mean, fans going to have to go through the concussion protocol, so I'm not going to make any predictions there, how that goes. Samaje, I think we avoided a significant long-term issue, and so we'll just work through the week and see how he ends up. But that was at least partially good news on Samaje, that it's not a long-term surgical issue.
As you continue to go,
Yeah, it kind of high calf area, and so we'll work through the week and make our decisions. We got an extra day here to see where everybody's at and make our decisions there.
will you continue to go with a rotation linebacker, or is that more of a product of that game?
We've got good players there, and so I think finding roles for all those guys is important. Again, it's a really good group. We feel like we got depth there. We feel we got leadership there. We got youth there. So again, we'll just continue to find ways to find roles for everybody.
What is it about Bear you feel like when he's out there that he brings to the table?
Well, I think that's why we drafted him. He's tremendous leadership, tremendous poise, high level of intelligence, great quickness, ability to key and diagnose. You can use that description on all the linebackers we have in that room. And I think for those young linebackers, there's never been a moment where it's too big for those guys. They fit in well. It doesn't mean that they're going to be perfect and not make mistakes and be a step slow at times, but they continue to work through it, and I've been pleased with the progress both those rookies have made there.
Is there a benefit for Logan of him not being on the field as much that you view as part of that, or why you guys did that?
Well, I don't ever think it's a bad thing for a guy to take a break for a snap or two and for segments of the game. The way that game was flowing, it was a great opportunity to get other guys in there and get them a chance. It was realistically, when that thing at halftime was 34-0, we still held out hope coming out in the second half, trying to put pressure on them to at least score some points and hold them, and that didn't really happen as the third quarter ensued. And so it's an opportunity. Let's get some other guys in there and get them a chance to go out there and play some football.